Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Everyone in Greater West Bloomfield is still talking about this year's Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, where countless artists and professionals from all across North America stopped by West Bloomfield to showcase their artistry and their talent. I had the privilege of attending this year's event and hearing from several artists and guests as to what makes this show so special for everyone. One of the most anticipated events throughout all of Greater West Bloomfield is the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. And just recently, over 100 very talented artists from all across the United States and Canada made their way right here to West Bloomfield to showcase all sorts of vibrant and unique art forms to all of the residents of the community. From glass art to portraits to jewelry, you name it, there is something for everybody here, and there is something for everybody to take away.
This one, it's a quaint show. You know, I like the traffic pattern. I like the location. I mean, it's very easy for an artist to do it. It's a unique show. So I enjoy coming here. I like customers that are very inquisitive and they ask about the process and they ask how the art is made and, my process. And I'm sure all the other artists that are here will have, if they ask the questions, they'll tell them the process. And then when the kids come through here, it's lovely because they ask really good questions. And you just take time with them. They're going to be our future customers.
We were here last year and the year before, so we built up a following. We just had a gentleman who came here who got some pieces from us last year and was very happy to see us again this year. We're only here once a year. So it's a rare opportunity for artists and for collectors to get together and enjoy the artwork here.
Well, we live in West Bloomfield. We are in walking distance, so we decided to come out this morning and check out the fair. So they are bringing their art, their beauty, and then we're putting it in our homes and our gardens, and we're just kind of carrying that same beauty forward. So it's a wonderful fair. And we're glad to be here, but I think it just kind of beautifies our homes and our gardens.
Well, they love coming here. It's a beautiful community, and West Bloomfield supports the arts tremendously. So that's why we've been here for 22 years now. The artists love it because it's a low-key event. It's not jam-packed like many other shows are. We have something for everyone. We have to keep in mind that although there's some museum quality work here, like our poster artist Agnes, we also have something for everyone because we're a street show, we're a community event, we're not a museum show. So we want to encourage young people, come bring your $20, your $25, start buying original and personally handmade art at a young age. That's when you start appreciating art, and then you become an art collector because you're going to want everything that you get to meet the artist at the show who made the work, and it becomes very sentimental.
What do you hope is the most important thing that everybody takes away just from being here today, whether they check out your station or some of the other fantastic stations all around the art show?
We're here to educate the public about what can be done with creative minds and materials. So not everybody has to be a member of a corporation and work in a regular job. They can also be independent artists and exhibitors and find a way to survive in this country without having to be in a corporate setting. So this is just a unique opportunity for artists to be able to showcase their work and have collectors find an interesting place in their home to put it.
The Orchard Lake Fine Art Show is one of my favorite events to cover here in West Bloomfield, and for very good reason. To see all of this unique artwork on display and the emotions you feel when observing it speaks so much. And it's amazing to see those reactions on everybody all throughout Greater West Bloomfield. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff. Amazing sights to see everywhere you look, and great music along the way. It was such a blast to be there at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show this year in Greater West Bloomfield. State Representatives Noah Arbit and Jennifer Conlon will be hosting a Local Lakes, Local Voices Town Hall on Monday, August 4th at 6 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. This is the second stop of their Local Lakes, Local Voices listening tour. This community event will focus on key issues impacting Michigan's inland lakes, including boating safety, water quality, and environmental protection. Attendees will hear from local experts and have the opportunity to share their concerns and ideas to help influence future policy decisions surrounding the care and sustainability of the state's freshwater resources. Once again, that is going to be taking place on Monday, August 4th at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. A mental note for the future that could affect your work route. Indian Trail will be closed to all through traffic between Orchard Lake and Commerce Roads on Tuesday, August 5th, beginning at 8 a.m. Oakland County Water Resources contractors will be working on a service connection, and the closure is only expected to be for that day, but it's still something you should be aware of to maybe try to alter your work route and how things might navigate throughout the day as you're trying to get home. Indian Trail residents will still be able to access their homes, but please use Orchard Lake Road as a detour. A few months ago on the Splash Live, we talked about the Ticket to Tuition sweepstakes, which offered $10,000 $50,000 and $40,000 $10,000 prizes to Michigan students who complete the FAFSA for the first time for the 2025-26 academic year. The prize winners have all been declared, and two of them are West Bloomfield High School seniors, Nathan Herbert and Aja McCoy. Nathan will be earning $50,000 and Aja will be earning $10,000 towards their educational journeys. Nathan will be studying engineering at North Carolina A&T, and Aja will be studying engineering at Michigan State University. A big congratulations to both of them, and we wish them the best of luck on their academic careers. And be sure to share your congratulations to both of them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools. Residents and history enthusiasts are invited to a special open house event on Sunday, August 10th at the Orchard Lake Museum, hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. The event will be showcasing a captivating collection of Keego Harbor postcards, offering a rare glimpse into a unique form of mail communication from the early 1900s. Attendees can explore Joni Walsh's collection of RPPCs, which are real photo postcards, all featuring images and scenes exclusive to Keego Harbor. The open house runs from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on August 10th. And for more information, please be sure to contact 248-757-2451 or visit gwbhs.org. The International Association of Emergency Managers has officially designated August 2025 as the first ever National Emergency Management Awareness Month, aiming to spotlight the vital role of emergency management professionals in building resilient communities. Plenty of those resources are available throughout the community, including Oak Alert. Oak Alert is Oakland County's free opt-in emergency notification service that delivers timely alerts via text, email, and phone based on either your registered location or where you are at the time. Joining us right now on the Splash Live to talk about it is Emergency Management Month is Oakland County's Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, Tom Hardesty. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Jake. We appreciate you having me on this morning.
Absolutely. Very, very important conversation. As I said, August 2025 marks the first ever National Emergency Management Awareness Month. How does this month-long campaign aim to highlight the importance of emergency management professionals in our communities?
It's really an opportunity to start a discussion, get people to start a discussion in the home, in their business, think about things that they can do themselves to help prepare for an emergency. When disasters happen, you're going to be looking for the police or fire or somebody to respond, but in a major incident, it might take some time. So we want to make sure that people have a good plan and they can keep themselves safe until help arrives.
That's right. It's always important to have a plan in place and to know what to do when an emergency is taking effect. What types of outreach efforts are being encouraged during National Emergency Management Awareness Month, and how can local emergency managers get involved?
Every community in Oakland County has a emergency management liaison. In West Bloomfield, it's the fire chief, Greg Flynn. We have a great relationship with him and the department, as well as the police department, constant communication with them. And then for him, it's with the communities there that they serve. Making sure that they have that information, how they get information. You mentioned OakAlert. That's one of our key ways. It's not a system that you're going to get spam calls from or spam information, which we all have to deal with quite a bit. So only during emergencies, you can sign up for the type of alerts you want to get, whether it's something minor, such as traffic issues, or you only want to be notified in a major emergency. But that's where you can get information quickly. Whether it's your cell phone, a house phone, an email, you have many options that you can get to by going to Oakland County Emergency Management's website and sign up for that.
Yeah, that sounds great for people to have these notifications, to be made aware of very important emergencies that are taking effect. And as you said, there are no spam calls. They only send out alerts if it's something serious. Could you talk about maybe some of the examples of the types of emergencies or incidents that would trigger an OakAlert notification?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, with the weather changes over the last few years, we've seen more of these. We will send out notifications during a tornado. We'll send them out when there are flood concerns. It could be a hazardous materials incident, whether it's a tanker truck or something that happens at a business. Giving people information. Do they need to shelter in place, or do they need to evacuate? Getting that information quickly so they can make the right choices. It's summertime right now. A lot of people have kids at home while they might be at work. So also making sure that you have these conversations with your kids at home so that they understand what they need to do in case of an emergency.
That's right. Important to get the kiddos up to date and informed as well. Important for everybody to have this information. Now, with the campaign emphasizing faster and more reliable communication, how does OakAlert compare to social media or traditional news in terms of speed and accuracy?
Well, we use several means possible. So that's going to be one of the first things that we send out. It is OakAlert. And then that will in turn put that information out on our social media pages as well. But the quickest and most accurate information you might get from there. We also have the ability in certain emergencies to use WIA notifications, which would go to your cell phone, similar to an Amber Alert. Those are only used during extreme circumstances. But again, we always look to have at least 3 different ways that we can get information to people.
Great. Love to have all this information available. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Tom Hardesty, Oakland County Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, as we're talking about August 2025 being the first ever National Emergency Management Awareness Month, and a lot of valuable information to take away. Now, when it comes to OakAlert, and I think you just touched on this a second ago, what steps should residents take to sign up for OakAlert, and how can they ensure that their contact information stays current?
Best way is to go to our website, oakgov.com, and type in a search for emergency management. You get a link there where you can sign up. We send, on occasion, we'll send test messages to make sure that it's working. And then they can go in and access that site whenever to check their own information, make sure it's secure and safe, and as you said, accurate and up to date.
Good. That's one of the most important things, because you don't want to like move to a new location and have the alerts going to the wrong place, or like a new phone number or a new email, and have those get mixed up as well. So that's very important. Now,
and you can sign up for more than one location. You can sign up for your home, for your work. Maybe you have an elderly parent or a special needs family member. You can sign up for more than one location so that you can get notices for more than one place.
Oh, that's even better. That's covering all the bases and making sure that every account and every number gets those alerts. So that is very, very important. Thank you, Tom, for that. How does the use of Code Red technology enhance Oak Alert's capabilities for delivering notifications across different platforms like text, email, and phone calls?
Well, there are a number of platforms out there. Our current one is Code Red. We also go out to bid and look at these. These companies are constantly developing the technology. One of the biggest benefits is the ability for us to also be able to use GIS technology with a map to try to narrow down those messages to the appropriate. So, for example, if there's a hazardous material spill and we need to show people to shelter in place for a mile radius, we can quickly draw that on a map. Based on the address that people put in the system, it will send messages to those people who have registered and have an address within that polygon that we put on the map.
Fascinating. Really interesting to hear how the process works. I am curious, Tom, what have residents had to say about Oak Alert if they've been communicating this to you and to Oakland County?
Well, actually, one of our coworkers just last week, she texted me about an incident with a storm. She said her daughter, they were outside, had some of their friends over swimming, seemed like a pretty nice day. And she was surprised when she got a notice that there were storms in the area. So she said it didn't look like it, but she tends to believe information when she sent it to her, started getting the kids together and actually just made it inside before a lightning storm hit the area. So we do get good feedback. It is important to be able to get that information again and get it quickly and then pay attention to it when it comes.
Tom, I'll tell you, from living in Michigan my entire life, the one thing I have learned is that the weather can change like that. So I definitely can expect a storm like that to come totally out of nowhere. And it's good that there is information like Oak Alert out there to inform the public. I got one more question before we wrap things up, Tom. Looking ahead, how do initiatives like National Emergency Management Awareness Month and tools like Oak Alert work together to build stronger and more prepared communities in Oakland County and beyond?
Well, one of the reasons we really want to push this message out so that we can get more people to sign up. You know, if we don't have phone numbers or don't have contact information, we can't send it to them. So the Emergency Management Week is trying to highlight those concerns, those things that might take place out there, help people to get prepared and understand that one of those steps to being prepared is being signed up. If you're in Oakland County, it's with Oak Alert. If you're in Livingston or Genesee, many of the other counties have similar systems. So making sure that you have access to that kind of technology.
And it's important for as many resources, or as many people as possible to have access to these resources. Tom, I want to thank you so much for your time. Why don't you tell us one more time how people can get signed up for Oak Alert?
Absolutely. Go to the Oakland County website, www.oakgov.com, and then put in emergency management, and it will take you right to our sign-up page.
That's where to go, and that's where you can get all of the alerts to stay up to date on the information in your community. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake.
Absolutely. Oakgov.com, oakgov.org is where you can go to gain those very important resources for Oak Alert. So we really appreciate Tom for stopping by and for sharing that information here on The Splash Live. New resources are now within reach for Metro Detroiters living with dementia and the loved ones who care for them. The Caring Connections Neighborhood Hub opens up in West Bloomfield. This innovative collection of services and activities fosters an inclusive environment where meaningful connections are built and valuable resources are within reach. Barb Haddad of Jewish Family Service recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us all about the resources.
Barb, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have
Excited
you
to
on.
be here.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk to you about this too. When this came across our desk, it was really cool to see that this is happening in our community to help families, not just in our local Jewish community, not just in Greater West Bloomfield, but all throughout the local area that are affected by dementia. So from your organization's standpoint, what sparked this really extensive new program to help families specifically affected by dementia?
So that is the question. We have been seeing for a long time that there are not services that are dementia friendly, and that's kind of a movement kind of across the country and even different parts of the world, that we want to make spaces more comfortable for people that do have to deal with dementia and memory loss. So one of the ways that we thought we would do that is by creating this new hub that would be completely dementia friendly, both for family caregivers, because it's part of our family caregiver support program, and also for the people with dementia. So that was kind of the impetus for it, that we really thought that this was an area that we're comfortable in, and we want to make it very comfortable for family caregivers and the people with dementia.
And you said something really critical there, dementia-friendly spaces, dementia-friendly programs. Elaborate on what that means, because for people that don't have someone in their life affected by dementia, they may not understand what it means to make a space dementia-friendly.
Sure. So some of the things that make this dementia-friendly is we have created a memory cafe. And the memory cafe is dementia friendly in the sense that people can bring their loved one with them. So they can bring the person with dementia, and the caregiver, the family member, can stay with them, and they can have some meaningful social interaction. There's education that they are able to access, whether it's regarding dementia or other things that may be affecting someone who's aging in the community. There's also people who will help them, volunteers from our organization will help them from their car to the facility. The bathrooms are right next to where they're going to be, so it's very easy. The signage is especially designed for people who have dementia, as well as we've got some dementia-friendly movies, and what that is movies that are kind of familiar to them. So next month, we're going to be doing Singing in the Rain in September, actually the month after next. And that's something that, strikes the long-term memories that are imprinted. And in the movies themselves, in the theater, which is at the Berman at the formerly the JCC, also known as the J now, the lighting is a little bit brighter so that they're not sitting completely in the dark. So when we had our first dementia-friendly movie back in May, and that was Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop. It was very comforting to people, first of all, to have something that they were very familiar with in terms of the content, but also that they could get up in the middle if they needed to. The seating was a little bit easier for people. So we kind of try to think of everything that will make them feel safe and comfortable.
More information on this program can be found on jfsdetroit.org, as well as on Facebook and Instagram at jfsdetroit. The direct website, jfsdetroit.org/hub, for even more information. Barb, what's so great about this is that these programs are centered around the individuals that are affected by dementia, but they don't just go to aiding those individuals, but also helping those that help them. Take us through why there was such a focus also in this program on assisting the caregivers and attending to their needs as well as part of this care.
Yeah. So the caregivers often experience burnout, and part of the need for this is to help people stay in their home, because a lot of people are aging in their homes. And so one of the ways we're helping them with the burnout, to prevent burnout, is by offering some respite options, whether it's through the Brown Center, which is one of our sister agencies in the Jewish community, or it could be through another place if that works out better for, it's really focused, person-centered. So it's focused on what meets the needs of the person. If they're no longer going out and that's not an option, we can also talk about what is available in the community for home care options and respite. And the other thing that we're offering, which I want to make sure we mention, is that we have cognitive training classes. So those classes are being specifically sort of re-geared toward this community in the sense that we are trying to have caregiver classes at the same time as offering classes for the care recipient. We call them the care recipient, the person who maybe has the dementia. And it's a different level of classes, but they're offered at the same time so that offers some sort of built-in respite for the caregiver.
And all of this can be found on jfsdetroit.org/hub. Mind University, that's the program she was talking about. They have the dementia-friendly movies, which begin very soon in September. Memory Cafe, that first event is happening really quickly. That's going to be coming up on August 6th. So many great programs here, Barb. And what's awesome about this, too, is that so much often what happens is people are affected by dementia or other cognitive issues similar to it. They have to go into specialized care. It's very expensive. It quickly can become entirely unaffordable for the care recipient, for the caregiver, for both. These programs provide them locally. They provide them to everybody and in an affordable way as well.
That's right. There's no charge for the Memory Cafe. And a lot of the one of the things is that we want to make all of our services accessible to people with dementia. So we have wraparound services as well. We have some low cost, the classes are low cost. And we also have other services at the Memory Cafe. So there's always a care manager there. If we do sort of informal consults at the Memory Cafe if people need it. There are other members of our team as well. So it's really, we're trying to make sure they access all the services and we try to avail all the services to them. We're also informing our program by using family caregivers in an advisory capacity as well.
And Barbara, just before we let you go, I want to make sure you mentioned these programs are free. These programs are going to be at Jewish Family Service here in our community here in Greater West Bloomfield. Do people need to sign up before they attend, or can they take walk-ins?
We prefer that they sign up at least for the classes in the Memory Cafe. And the movies, you can buy tickets ahead or you can buy them at the ticket office as well.
And all that can be found on jfsdetroit.org, as well as many other resources for families affected by dementia and otherwise here in the Greater West Bloomfield area and our neighboring communities as well. Barb, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate having the chance to talk about this wonderful programs that are, some are new and some are sort of revamped to help the community. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Valuable and free resources for people in West Bloomfield struggling with dementia and for the people who take care of them. We really appreciate Barb for taking the time to talk with us here on the Splash Live. Oakland County runs a beach monitoring program from early June through August, testing around 100 beaches on about 70 inland lakes with weekly sampling for E. coli. A beach is closed if its daily geometric mean E. coli level exceeds 100 milliliters or if the 30-day geometric mean exceeds 100 milliliters. Here to tell us more about the process is Mark Hansel from the Oakland County Health Division. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Very important conversation to have right now, especially since we're still in the heart of summer right now. People are going to be wanting to go to the beach, going to want to relax throughout the day, but it's important to make sure that the beach you're going to is safe. How does Oakland County decide which beaches to monitor each summer, and what's the process behind choosing those 100 beach sites?
Yeah, great question. So we have a good combination of beaches, quite a few. We have a lot of inland lakes here in Oakland County, and we have about 250 known beaches here in Oakland County that we can monitor at any given summer. So we have at least 50 to 55 what we call truly public beaches. Now, these are your parks, pay to swim areas, but there are a lot of municipal, county, even state parks here in Oakland County where we will do monitoring every year on those 55 or so beaches. So to round out the additional 45 or so beaches, we have a rotation schedule where we can select these, we call them semi-private beaches. Now, these are going to be like homeowner associations, beach clubs, a lot of association beaches that we call semi-public, and we rotate those in every year. So it's about every 4 years or so that we can test these semi-public beaches.
Interesting. Very interesting to hear about the process. And it's important that everyone has this information since it's already affected things here in Greater West Bloomfield. As so far this summer, Grove and Willow beaches on Cass Lake in Keego Harbor were closed due to high E. coli levels. What do residents and visitors in Greater West Bloomfield need to know about that situation?
Well, they need to monitor that closure. So we have websites available. If you go to oakgov.com/health, you will find our beach page with a simple search, and you will be able to see which beaches are closed and whether, if it's going to be reopened. Please know that if a beach is closed, we sample it every day until we can get a result that would indicate that it is safe to swim. There's also, if you type into your favorite browser, Michigan Beach Guard, you will also find the individual sample results listed for the beach of interest. So, something like Cass Lake, one of the biggest lakes in Oakland County. So it's important to know that, the sampling at the beach, at the swim area itself is not going to be an indicator of the lake as a whole. It's kind of, it's going to be kind of within that specific area.
All right, that's good to know that these beaches will be open as soon as everything is okay. I'm sure everyone will love to hear that. Many suspect heavy rain may contribute to contamination. Can you explain how rainfall triggers these spikes and what precautionary steps beachgoers should take?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree that rainfall is going to be a key indicator of the potential for beach closure. I mean, this has been an extremely wet summer, definitely above average rains this summer. I think measured in the city of Detroit, they've even had record-setting single-day rainfalls this year, at least one or two. So we've had a very wet season. So some beaches are more vulnerable to that wet weather than others. So one thing to look out for, certainly, the first thing you should do before you go swimming is check our website. Are we sampling the beach that you're going to? And if we are, is it open or closed? If it's closed, you should never go swimming in a beach that's closed. We also have signage that we will post at the beach when it is closed. It's a pretty big, bright yellow sign. It's hard to miss if the beach is closed. And then you might also see a sign that says advisory. Now, that advisory is there's some pre-indication that the bacterial levels might be high, and you should definitely swim with extra caution if you see that advisory sign. If the beach is not being monitored, just kind of a real basic rule of thumb is, after a heavy rain, maybe wait at least 24 hours before you swim in that lake.
That's a pretty good rule of thumb. I think everybody can take that with them as they go on. With the qPCR rapid testing pilot, how has same-day advisory improved public safety at beaches like those in Keego Harbor, would you say?
Yeah, it's been a really, really good tool for us to use because what that allows us to do, it allows us to take a sample in the morning and then have a result by early afternoon. So it's considered a rapid test. We're able to run it on a number of the most popular public beaches here in Oakland County, and it gives us that same day result. So we get the result and we can tell you today whether it's safe to swim or not. It's a method that's evolving. the lab methodologies and the equipment and everything is constantly evolving. It's still kind of an expensive test. It's a little labor intensive. We would like to use it more. We just don't have the resources right now to expand that program, but we're always looking to, create opportunities where we can expand that program, do it for more beaches so we have more instant results for people so they know that it's not safe to swim today. It's been highly beneficial for us to be able to put out a warning based on those results until we can get the bacterial results back.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Mark Hansel from the Oakland County Health Division, who's talking about a beach monitoring program that's currently underway throughout Oakland County to test around 100 beaches on about 70 inland lakes for weekly sampling of E. coli and making sure that these beaches are safe for people to relax and to swim in. So, Mark, what recommendations do you have for private lakefront property owners in Oakland County who may want to assess the water quality around their own homes?
Sure. If there's a designated swim area, there's kind of a methodology that we recommend that you would follow. Just kind of taking one sample really doesn't give you the whole story. If you have a swim area that you use routinely or frequently, we would recommend that you sample at least once weekly. And we do offer test kits for those beaches that we're unable to sample this summer. We do have test kits available here. It comes with a pretty detailed set of instructions, the encouragement to do it, throughout the swim season. And it will come with 3 bottles. It's only like $12, and it is designed for use for swimming to determine bacteria levels. It's available at Health Division offices. We have offices here in Pontiac, and we have another office in Southfield.
Great. Good to have these resources for everyone to be able to check the water themselves. Now, obviously, we don't want anybody swimming in these possibly contaminated lakes, but sometimes some things might happen. Considering illnesses linked to contaminated water, such as digestive discomfort or skin irritation, what symptoms should local swimmers watch for, and when should they seek medical advice?
Sure. So some of the symptoms from, just what we would call, the official word is recreational water illness. Most common, it is going to be that gastrointestinal, the stomach cramps. It could lead to diarrhea. Occasionally, you'll have a low-grade fever even. But the skin contact can also cause rashes. You can have ear infections. Some respiratory issues even from inhaling water droplets that might be contaminated. So most often the symptoms are going to be fairly mild, or they're going to be unpleasant, and they rarely require a physician intervention. However, if you are having symptoms that are persistent or causing issues, we absolutely encourage you to speak with your physician and report illness to the health department, because we can do some additional investigation if we start seeing illnesses associated with a specific lake or swim area.
That's right. You don't want to sit on this kind of stuff. If you start to feel very dangerous symptoms, it's best to report them immediately and get the necessary help. Mark, I want to thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live. One question before we wrap things up. For West Bloomfield families planning beach outings throughout the rest of the summer, how can they best stay informed about closures or advisories in real time?
The best way to stay informed for closures in Oakland County is to visit the Oakland County website at oakgov.com/health, and you can just search for beaches right there at that website. But if you're traveling abroad, even in the state of Michigan, the Michigan Beach Guard website has results of every lake that's being monitored in the entire state. So take a look at those websites before you head out to the beach, and stay safe.
oakgov.com/health is where you can go to get that information. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We want everybody to make sure that they have a very, very fun summer, but more importantly, we want to make sure that they have a safe summer. So be on the lookout and make sure that if you are going to be having a beach outing within the next few weeks, make sure it's at a safe location and that the water is safe to swim in. The 29th Friends of Polish Art Fine Arts competition marks the highly anticipated return of a beloved artistic tradition. Relaunched in partnership with the Polish Institute of Culture and Research at Orchard Lake, this juried competition is open to artists of all media aged 18 and older, offering a unique platform for creative voices from across the region and beyond. Anya Biachuk, the Associate Director for Polonia Affairs, recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us more. Anya, great to have you with us today.
Great to be on the Splash as well. Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'm really interested in hearing about this competition. This is the 29th edition of this arts competition, but it's making its grand return because it's been away for over a decade, it sounds like. What can you tell us of the history of this contest and what inspired the decision to relaunch the event now in its 29th edition?
Yeah, absolutely. So the competition started off in 1985, and it didn't start off as the Friends of Polish Art Fine Arts competition. It was actually named after a prolific Polish artist in the United States named Richard Kubinski, who unfortunately passed away at a very young age of 34. But he was very talented, very prolific. And we want to encourage that the expression of Polish heritage and supporting Polish artists to its fullest. So the competition has evolved over the course of time. 29 editions is pretty significant. There's been over a decade of a break here, but I think a lot of organizations experienced a little bit of a lull and uncertainty during the COVID pandemic, but now things are full force. We're excited to bring it back. Now, Jake, I want to mention that we're not limited to just artists and individuals of Polish descent.
Okay.
There are unique prizes. There's a $500 Best in Show. But those that thoughtfully engage with Polish themes, there's also a really nice considerable prize for that as well. That's a $400 prize. And we have other tiers as well. So, we're really excited. We're hoping to see people from all over the country. We're getting entries pretty consistently now for the last few weeks. So sharing this opportunity with you right now is really perfect. So I appreciate the chance to be here.
Absolutely. We love getting events like these a little more promotion and helping to make sure that everyone in the community is aware. Now, you said that the inspiration behind this event came from an incredible artist by the name of Richard Kubinski. Could you tell us a little bit more about his background and why his legacy remains such a meaningful part of this event?
Yeah, so not only, of course, obviously his Polish descent, right? But he was a gifted painter. He was a poet, a translator, a very cosmopolitan man. He was an educator and a cultural advocate. But the reason why he was tied to this art competition is because he was actually a president of the Friends of Polish Art Society, which is one of our long-standing partner organizations here in the Metro Detroit area that focuses on preserving this cultural history. So they do a lot of events and workshops, gatherings that center around these cultural components. So the fusion of the Friends of Polish Art with the Polish Institute, and of course, as you know, and we've been so grateful for your coverage, our newly renovated Galleria, which is really the premier and perfect spot to be showcasing art pieces and media components of this quality and magnitude. So the fact that we can partner together is wonderful. And I think Richard, in his late memory, I think he would quite approve of the evolution of this art competition.
I think he would love to hear that this art competition has lasted for so long and is making such a grand return in this incredible way. Now, with this year's art competition, we're going to be seeing several different types of art forms and art mediums. What are you hoping to see from this year's submissions?
Really a multitude, a range of different media components. Typically you're looking at paintings, which is fine and beautiful in its own right. But we've been pleasantly surprised by some entries that are fashion oriented and textile. There's video components as well. So really the imagination of expression and the creativity that's behind that is never limited to one medium. And we're just incredibly excited to be able to have the opportunity to showcase it. So the juried exhibit, and I do have to say that this year's competition is juried by Professor Martin Zane Skalski. So he's a Fulbright scholar. He's also a respected artist and educator in his own right, and he's been teaching at the Pratt Institute for the last 25 years. And he himself, as an artist, has participated in projects and exhibitions internationally. But the juried exhibit goes from October 5th to the 24th. We have our opening reception and award ceremony on October 5th. So again, it's never limited to just the Polish community. We are highlighting these beautiful threads that weave through our community. But art is such a universal component, and you can convey so much. So we're incredibly excited, intrigued, and looking forward to these submissions. So again, Jake, thank you so much for giving us a platform.
Absolutely, and I'm just as intrigued as you are to see all of these great art forms and mediums as they tell a story and they're featured in this competition. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Anya Biachuk, the Associate Director for Polonia Affairs with the Polish Institute of Culture and Research, talking about the 29th Friends of Polish Art Fine Arts competition, which is making its grand return this year after a decade away. Now, Anya, one of the award categories highlights Best Polish Theme. What kind of work typically resonates in that category, and what does it mean to explore Polish culture through art?
Gosh, well, you know, Jake, that's such a loaded, that's a loaded question. Because it's, gosh, ask a Polish person what Polish culture is. But it's conveyed in different dimensions, right? You're talking about history. You're talking about personal history. You're talking about the collective, past, future, present. There's a wide range, a gamut of expression, so it doesn't have to be something explicitly Polish, but maybe it's something that's, thoughtfully conveyed through the lens of Polish history or Polish culture. Oh, goodness, there's so many beautiful buildings in Poland and natural features that the country offers. There's so much to be inspired by. So those in particular, anything that's really thoughtful engagement, it's nice to keep it broad because I think any artist will tell you the worst is to sort of limit them and box them in any capacity. But we're extremely excited. Being Polish means a lot of different things to different people. Traditionally we've seen a lot of folk patterns. That's always common. People gravitate towards that a lot. But like I had mentioned, there's some really stark contrasts in architecture in Poland and in the history itself. I mean, you have medieval, you have communist buildings, you have the post-democratic sort of wave that we're in, this really wonderful time of exploration and expansion that's happening right now. So it's really open to everything, but we're very, very excited. So.
That's right, and it's important for a lot of artists to take away the importance of showcasing cultural heritage within the arts. And I'm curious, what do you hope this competition communicates to both the artists and the broader community about the importance of cultural heritage within the arts?
You know what? It's about not only just our Polish heritage, right? But it's about cultivating a place and supporting artists as well. To us, that is a critical component of our mission. Art, music, those are universal expressions, and those really transcend any culture, so not limited to just being Polish. And we want to offer artists in every and any capacity a home and a place to know that their work matters, that they have value, they're appreciated, and they'll be celebrated and honored. And that expression needs a place to grow and develop. And we're really hoping to inspire people by the relaunch of this competition.
Well, I can't wait to see what's to come with this competition in the coming weeks' time. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Anya. For those who can't attend in person, will there be any virtual components or ways to engage with the exhibition online?
Yes, so actually our website, which is pickrol.org, that's PICROL.org. We currently have information about the arts competition there right now. There's a link that'll directly take you to the Friends of Polish Art site for any submissions. I do have to mention that submissions are being taken till September 2nd, and that deadline is being firmly held. So if you are on the fence or considering, I would say please go forward, take the chance. We're extremely excited. This is the right place for you, and we're completely excited to welcome you. Artists are welcome to bring 5 pieces of art in their portfolio. Entry fees are only $30. $30, and I think the prizes are considerable, so we hope that many people will take advantage of it. But information for those individuals who are unable to meet us through October 5th through the 24th of the juried exhibit, they'll be able to see it online. So we'll have it on our website. We'll have information about the pieces. We'll have a map, a guide. It'll be well represented. So we hope people come in person. The location is fantastic. Jake, you can attest. We've been really fortunate to host you quite a few times. And we just really hope that people take the opportunity, especially those in the community, to come out and check it out. It is really unique and one of a kind and extraordinarily special for the community.
It absolutely is. With the September 2nd deadline, there's plenty of opportunities and plenty of time for everyone to keep those submissions coming. Can't wait to see what's to come. Last question. How can the public and supporters contribute to ensuring the continued success of events like this competition in the future?
Yes, so the best way is to contact us at the Polish Institute at Orchard Lake. So we have information online again. So that's PICROL.org. They can reach out to us directly. They can also send an email at info@pickrol.org, info@picrol.org. We're always happy and we very much welcome community engagement. This is important to us, and we're always naturally excited about these things. This is our wheelhouse. This is what we do. But what's incredibly special is when we see others engage with us and show the same level of excitement. But you know what, Jake? Sometimes it's not always the same. Sometimes it's a curiosity. They want to learn more. And then that grows into something more. And that is incredibly rewarding. So we're thrilled to be able to relaunch this. We're thrilled to be working with Friends of Polish Art, which is a long-standing organization in the Metro Detroit area. So the two organizations coming together to partner and collaborate and sort of relaunch and bring to life Mr. Richard Kubinski's legacy. It's really an honor. We're excited. And like I had mentioned before, the works do not have to be Polish themed. There is a Polish prize-winning category, if that is the case. But it really is supporting artists in their expression. So we appreciate this time. Thank you so much, Jake.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anya, for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thanks.
Can't wait to see all of the amazing artwork that's to come with this competition. We appreciate Anya for taking the time to talk with us here on The Splash Live. It's already the start of August. It may seem like summer is flying by, but make no mistake, there is still plenty of time for warm weather and high temperatures, which also means high risk of heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. West Bloomfield Fire Captain Michael Wood joined us on The Splash recently for an important discussion on staying safe and beating the heat. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Of course, really glad to have you with us, and good to see that amazing fire truck right behind you. Always great to see. And right now, we're in the middle of summer, and everyone is getting hot outside, and the temperatures are much higher than we've seen recently. What are some of the most common heat-related emergencies your department responds to during extreme heat?
Well, with any heat, you're going to have the heat stroke and heat exhaustion. And so if you're outdoors, planning on being outdoors, hydrate ahead of time. Hydrate the day before. Drink a lot of fluid. Drink some electrolytes to keep your chemical balance all normal. And keep drinking when you're outside.
That's absolutely right. Drinking water and staying hydrated is one of the most important things you can do. Dehydration can be a very problematic thing to deal with. What signs of dehydration should people watch out for, would you say?
Well, if they transition from a sitting to a standing position, they get lightheaded and dizzy. Okay, your fluids are probably low. When you urinate, it should be clear. If it's a dark color, you need to drink more. If you're outside and you're sweating a ton and then you stop sweating, that's a really bad sign when you stop sweating. Get yourself into a cool area, whether it be in a house, whether it be in your car, whether it be at a cooling center. Sorry about that. We're a little bit busy today, so I'm going to pause so that I don't have to talk over them.
Don't worry about it. But those are some very important tips to keep in mind. I didn't even know about the one you just said about when you stop sweating all of a sudden, that's very, very bad. So always, see, I just learned something myself. So it's great that everyone is having this information. And of course, it's not just dehydration, it's heat exhaustion and heat stroke that can also provide problems for a lot of people. Are there any warning signs or symptoms of those that residents should know how to recognize and respond to?
Well, if they're not responding appropriately, if they're not making sense when you ask them basic questions, if they're a loved one of yours and you just know that, okay, they're not acting right, get them inside. Yeah, feel, even just taking the back of your hand and just feel on their forehead. That's something that will, also offer some clues as to what's going on.
There you go. Simple things for everybody in the Greater West Bloomfield community to keep in mind. Now, everyone's going to be wanting to stay cool this summer, and some people might not have access to air conditioning at their home. So I'm curious, do you know of any cooling centers or maybe some designated safe spaces throughout West Bloomfield that residents can use if they don't have some of those resources at home?
So off the top of my head, no, I don't know of any. Having 4 kids, and they're all grown up now, but when they were younger, we would spend time going to the mall. We would spend time at the public libraries, the different libraries, and have fun visiting them and seeing what they provided for the kids, while also it kept us all cool. If you have a basement, hang out in your basement. The basements are usually cooler than the main floor and the second floor. If you're going to be in water, if you're going to be in a lake, use extreme caution. Know your limits. If you are outside a lot working in the yard or exercising, now you jump into a lake, be very cautious because how your body's going to react to that temperature change. Your muscles are going to seize up. They're going to start spasming. Speaking from experience, when I went to a tennis camp, I jumped in the deep end of a pool. I'm a good swimmer. I love the water. My legs seized up. They cramped up. Scared me to death. I'm a strong swimmer. I was able to wade over to the edge. I didn't want to cause a ruckus because I'm with all my friends. I don't want attention drawn to me. So I'm just going to swim over here. So in the lake, you got to be very cautious of your swimming capabilities, swimming with a buddy, even having a flotation device behind.
All great information. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield Fire Department Captain Michael Wood, who's providing some very important tips to stay really, really safe this summer, especially from the massive heat strokes and the massive heat waves, including the one we're dealing with right now here in Michigan. Now, Michael, with something like this, it's always important to not only take care of yourself, but also to maybe check in on some vulnerable neighbors or some loved ones who who might not have as many might not have as many resources as you have. How can residents check on vulnerable neighbors or loved ones safely during a heat wave?
There's not a, let me rephrase that, I'm sorry.
Go right.
There's always a good time to start being a good neighbor. And it's now. Always check up on your neighbors, even if it's just casual conversation. If you see somebody that's old in your neighborhood, even when you're driving out, stop to them, talk to them, find out how they're doing. If they need anything, hey, I'm going to run to Meyer. Can we get you something when we are there? You never know what can happen. With regard to just checking up on them and inviting them into your house if you have air conditioning. With the storm that blew through yesterday, it was really neat standing outside when that storm first came through. The gust of wind, we'll call it the gust front, awesome to experience. But then that brings challenges of down trees, down power lines. Now people turn to generators to power their house. With the wind, with the humidity and the temperature, you really got to watch even the standby generators and the portable generators and making sure that they're far away from the house and that exhaust is not sneaking into the house. That's where the carbon monoxide detectors come in really handy, especially if they're battery powered, so that you know that carbon monoxide is staying out of the house. Some generators are powerful enough to power air conditioners. If you are at all in question with regard to if your generator can power an air conditioner, contact a qualified electrician and they'll be able to answer that and maybe even hook you up with some type of a device that can make your air conditioning work on generator power.
All right, lots of important information that I hope everybody takes away from this conversation. And Michael, I am curious, I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, because I'm not just asking about what other residents should do to stay cool, but I'm also curious about what you and the rest of the firefighters do, especially going into these hot situations. What types of gear or preparation do firefighters use to protect themselves while working in such very, very high temperatures?
So we don't have any specialized gear that we have to deal with the higher temperatures, but we do have strategies and extra manpower that we can call in. On a typical house fire, we may put 3 stations on it normally. If it were to happen today and even yesterday, we would pull all 6 stations to come together and help fight that fire to give guys time off and recoup and go into rehab to cool their body temperature down. We have a wonderful mutual aid pack with the surrounding communities that we can call them in as well to offer assistance and provide manpower so that we can rotate crews and keep them out of the hot environment, have them strip down on their gear. We carry a lot of extra water and a lot of electrolytes that we can put in that water to keep that chemical balance correct in your body.
There you go, all going back to staying hydrated. Great to hear of everything that the fire department has on hand to help you guys through it. Last question, Michael, before we wrap things up, where can people go to gain a little more information about how to properly navigate such harsh heat waves like this one?
I think YouTube is a great thing. You could probably even hit the Oakland County Health Department, hit their webpage. They may have heat emergency little guidelines and suggestions to avoid such emergencies.
All right, great resources for everyone to keep in mind. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And with that, that's going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. I want to say a big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this fantastic show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.